Maybe it's the weather, an injury, or lack of daylight hours that's reduced all of your training to being indoors on the turbo. Whatever the reason though, at some point you are going to have to leave the comforts of the indoors and head out into the real world. And riding outside does require a certain amount of motivation as well as a different structure with your training. So today I'm going to be doing my best to convince you of the benefits of riding outside, as well as bringing you tips on how to keep your training efficient and goal specific. I need to start with a disclaimer. My aim of this video is to convince you guys, and to a certain extent myself, to get outside and ride. But due to the wonderful British weather, I must admit I'm going to be doing more talking than I am riding in this video, and I might even be venturing into the warm indoors. Both indoor and outdoor training have several benefits, although I don't think I need to sell the benefits of setting up your turbo at home. The convenience of being able to just jump straight on it without spending time finding all of your kit. Doesn't matter whether it's daylight outside, and you're not going to waste any time having to get out through traffic or freewheeling downhill, so you can really get a lot out of one single session. Then on top of that, you've got all the numbers there that you might need, and you can even watch a movie or listen to your own music, irrelevant of whether it's cold, dark or wet outside. So yes, I do know that I've got my work cut out here to convince you of the benefits of riding outside, but trust me, there are certain things you cannot learn or cannot benefit from without actually heading out the door. You never know what race day is going to throw at you, what the conditions are going to be like, for example. And I know none of us are really going to choose or enjoy riding out in the wind and the rain, but if you do survive a tough training session in conditions like that, then you're going to take some confidence from that. You'll know that you can pretty much tackle anything when it comes to race day. And that's part of the reason that we see some pros actually not choosing to go abroad when they've got that option and training at home. For example, the Brownlee brothers do famously stay in Yorkshire for some of their training during the winter, as they know it makes them mentally tougher. And when it comes to riding outside as well, just practicing braking, changing gear, reading the road ahead of you can make you a far more efficient rider and actually make you faster when it comes to race day. Leading on from that last point, you're going to be racing outdoors, so you need to train outdoors. You can't expect your body and your mind to be mentally ready for all of this different stimuli if you haven't practiced it. And trying to stick to the numbers that you set are near on impossible when it comes to outdoors. You've got to have that ability to be able to adapt. For example, if you're riding up a steep hill, you'll struggle to keep your power actually low enough, and the opposite when it comes to riding downhill. Doing sessions at race pace intensity out on the roads are a great way for preparing you for the upcoming season. You need to be prepared to put in hard efforts that aren't going to be constant. For example, if you've been freewheeling down a steep hill and then you suddenly need to get your legs to work really hard up the steep hill on the other side, it's going to be hard to replicate that on a turbo situation. But we will be covering more sessions in a bit of detail later on. The feel-good factor is hard to pin down with exact science, but you definitely get that buzz a lot more from riding outside than you would indoors. And if you are lucky enough to have some sunshine where you're riding, then you're going to get vitamin D, which is really essential for athletes who especially are pushing themselves hard. And even if it is a ride outside without sunshine, but you're getting daylight, well, it's been proven to help boost your mood, and then that will in turn make you enjoy your training more and allow you to push harder when you need to in the long run. The majority of your indoor training is going to be done alone, but riding with others can be so much more engaging. You get that mental stimulation as well as the ever-changing surroundings of being outside. And if all of that's not enough, then have a good descent and you'll get the adrenaline pumping. And I think all of this combined is definitely going to help with those endorphins. It's pretty hard to do a long, steady aerobic ride indoors, partly due to boredom, discomfort, and also maintaining your body temperature. However, when you do head outside, it's pretty easy to ride for a long time at the required low intensity. And this is also great for fat burning. On the topic of fat burning, there have been some studies that prove riding at a low intensity in cooler temperatures encourages your body to burn more of that brown stored fat. So there are some benefits for riding in the cold as well. You know why to ride outdoors now, but how about when? I know I'm British, but this is the last time I'm going to talk about weather, I promise. When it comes to about March time, then hopefully the conditions start to become more favourable. And wherever you are in the world, springtime tends to be a few months just ahead of when race season really gets going. So it is about this time that you need to be digging out your kit and actually heading out onto the roads for some of your training. Maybe it was something else keeping you riding indoors, whether an injury or lack of location for your riding. But whatever the reason was, it's a good idea to get back out on the road as soon as you can, and ideally a minimum of 4 weeks before your first event, so you've got plenty of time to hone in your position and make sure you're comfortable and confident on the bike again. However, you don't need to go from one extreme to the other, so you don't suddenly need to stop all indoor training and do all of your training outdoors. It's about finding that happy balance in between, and maybe you live somewhere that the weather is lovely all year round, then it's a good idea to actually keep a mix of indoor and outdoor training, as that helps keep you mentally and physically in a nice, fresh state. And when it does come to the season though, I'd recommend as a bit of a guide, a minimum of doing 60% of your riding outdoors. There is a bit of a danger when you head back outside for the first time after doing all of those really indoor specific training sessions, that your rides all turn into nice long social steady efforts, in that contrast to the sweat and the pain that you're putting in on the turbo. And I admit you're probably naturally going to be riding for longer when you go outside, as it's often that bit easier, but if you're not careful you could end up undoing all of that hard work, and outdoor training does still need to remain specific. Here are a selection of session examples which you can mix into your outdoor training. You'll of course need a good warm up and a warm down either side of all of these, and feel free to incorporate these sessions into a longer ride as well. And this first session is big gear sprints. So 6 lots of 10 seconds of sprinting with just 3 minutes rest, and you need to reach maximal power and you hold on to that until 10 seconds have passed. And repeat this twice or 3 more times, but making sure obviously you're in a big gear. And this session will help to give you potential to push up your threshold strength, but respect it. It might not sound like much, but if done properly, it will be harder than you expect. Hill reps. To start off, we're going to just do 10 lots of 1 minute working above threshold effort with a 60 to 70 RPM. And this will again work leg strength more than your cardiovascular system, but don't get me wrong, you'll still feel your heart and your lungs working. Aerobic capacity is another aspect you need to address with your training, and a sweet spot session will help to bump up that threshold again whilst working you at a level just below it. And this type of session will in the long run enable you to go harder for longer. So an example here is 4 lots of 10 minutes at your sweet spot intensity, which is 84 to 94% of your FTP, if you know that, or if you're going by heart rate, then 75 to 85% of max, and an effort level of about 6 to 7 out of 10. And between each of those 10 minutes, have a 5-minute recovery in zone 2 after each rep. Now, don't forget the long ride. We've touched on it already. You do need to get used to being on your bike in your desired race position for long periods of time. So doing this outside is preferable to help with boredom, but also make it race specific. Feel free to add in some longer efforts within it, say 3 lots of 20 minutes at race pace. This will help you practice the pace on undulating terrain, something which you can't do indoors. And you can utilize reverse periodization for cycle training, and doing your harder, shorter, intense style sessions in the pre-season during the winter when you're indoors on the turbo, and then those longer miles as you head into the spring. And it's a proven style that many athletes choose to utilize, and it supports the sessions that we've talked about today. The largest chunk of your triathlon training is spent on your bike, so you want to make sure you keep it interesting and varied. Now remember, the outdoors is free, and you just can't beat that feeling of going for a really good ride in the fresh air. So go out there and embrace it. And let us know how you actually mix your indoor and your outdoor training. And if you've got a favourite outdoor training session, then please share it with us in the comments section below. And also remember, we've got other social media channels, so check those out and give us a like and a follow.